But we are live.
Woo!
We're live. Good morning, Debbie Dudar.
Good morning, Bertie. How are you doing?
I'm all right. You sounded much more excited before we went live. Like you've been all like jumping up and down like, good morning, Bertie. Let's get this 10 minutes out of the way.
Good morning, Bertie. I am very excited. And we're talking about focus. And we've had quite an unfocused conversation that has bounced from steak to holidays to washing machines. It's like we're in like a ping pong of conversations. And then we're like, we're talking about focus.
Let's
get focused.
Travelodge, we've had that in there as well. It's all been happening. It's all been happening this morning. So good morning. So if you're watching us live, please smash that like button. We've never said that before. It feels very YouTube.
Smash it.
Smash that like button and tell us you're here. Answer the question in the comments and all that other stuff. Because yes, today we are talking about focusing your attention. Which I'll be honest, Dudar, it's not something that comes naturally to me, unfortunately.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree that being focused doesn't come naturally to me either. I tend to be quite distracted by shiny things and have multiple things going on in my head at once. So actually it's a skill and a strength that I've had to kind of learn and develop over time to just get focused, because you don't get a lot done when you're not focused.
No, absolutely. Unfortunately, it is one of those things that you need, especially to be successful in business. You can't just be bouncing around from one shiny thing to the next. But the good news is there is a cure to this disease that we both suffer. I find it really interesting because a lot of people said to me, "Oh, I could never do that. I'm just not focused enough. I just don't have your attention span." It's like, do you actually know me? Like, I am the worst serial procrastinator, so easily distracted by anything. But these are things that you learn, right? And like, if you want to do something, then you can, of course, teach yourself to do it. So I'm going to share my hacks today. Have you got any hacks on how to stay focused, Dudar?
Yeah, I've definitely got habits, but I'd say, like, people listening, be careful if you're saying like, I can't do that or I can never do this, because you're just shutting the door on the possibility of learning.
Absolutely.
I mean, as if we can never learn things and we're just at one point in our life and that's who we are and that's it. We can always develop and grow. And I think wherever you are, whatever point you are at, be open to the possibility that you can learn new skills and you can do things in a different way. And even the most kind of bouncy tiggers of us out there in the world can learn to create a little bit of focus for pockets. Like, for me, it's about finding pockets of focus and allowing myself time to be Tigger and bouncing off the walls and building that into my kind of working day.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's right. And I think, the point about that you can learn all this stuff is really, really important. Whether it's focusing, stopping being distracted, like, anyone that's good at anything didn't just, pop out of the womb, holding a tennis racket or a golf club in their hand, and they were just like amazing, or driving a racing car out of there. Sounded really old then, a racing car. That's not how it works. Like, we have to practice and we have to learn these things, and it's the same for focusing your attention as well. Like, it is a skill. So some people naturally can do that, and just the way that they've been brought up, and maybe the teachers they had at school. For me, it wasn't. I was always seen as that kid that was always written off, as in, he's easily distracted. We're not going to try and help him. So I've had to learn these things myself. So it can be done. So it is a skill that can be learned. So what are your biggest distractions, Debbie?
Well, I think, like everybody, probably social media is a big distraction, because I'm like, oh, do people comment on my post? Oh, they've commented. Oh, I need to reply to the comment. Oh, how many likes have I got? Oh, what's happening over there? And that can be a big distraction. I think that's one that most people will resonate with.
Absolutely.
Emails as well. Emails. Yeah. Oh, an email's popped in. Oh, I must just reply to that email and do something with that. So I think it's the things that pop up in that notification space.
Exactly.
To draw your attention away.
Yeah, for me, I think, you've just highlighted, for me, it's just this little bastard in general, like constantly, like it's such a distraction, whether it's, social media, DMs, Tinder alerts, all of those things.
Tinder?
No, it was a joke. Just making sure you're awake. I'm making sure you're focused, Dudar.
I'm focused. I'm focused.
All of these things, all of these distractions, like at any time, can come through. So I think understanding what those distractions are and then starting to eliminate them, certainly at the times where you're supposed to be in focused, are really, really important. So I know we spoke before about I never know how to say it, the Pomodoro Technique, the 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off.
That's one of my main things. If I've got a day where I'm super busy, I will write down all the things that I want to do. I'll assign a time in the day to do them, and then I'll just set the timer, do the job, set the timer, do the job. And that enables me to get through a ton of stuff. When I don't do that, I probably get half of the things done that I want to. And I spend a lot of time wasted flapping about with various things. So I think being able to map that day out, this hour's for this 2 hours for that, this 30 minutes for that, and then sticking to that, using a timer on my phone mostly, actually, that helps me enormously. Just get shit done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the Pomodoro Technique is great. I mean, it's for, I'd say, people like us who work in sort of short bursts. It's great if you're like a developer or coder. That 5 minutes off can sometimes almost take you out of your flow. So I know these techniques, they don't necessarily work for everyone in every industry. Yeah. But if you do struggle with fighting with distractions like I do, then these things are really, really good, because you're essentially going in there, one task, 25 minutes. And we spoke before about the Parkinsons Law, that the time that you give a task, you'll naturally fill it. Yeah. So like when there's a lot you can do in 25 minutes if you're not distracted by emails and things like that. So yeah, just focusing, understanding what those distractions are and then managing them. There are lots of things now on phones, and there's new things that are coming out to try and avoid distractions. There's different sorts of focus modes on the new Apple phones, for example. I think the update comes out next week. You can be really brutal and go airplane mode or turn your phone off. Yes. So if you're really, really struggling with those things, recognize what those distractions are. The world is not going to fall apart if you don't answer an email straight away. Now, I've done before a webinar on how to get to inbox zero. I'll probably run one again, but there is a course. If you want the course, just DM me and I'll send you details of how you can get that. But part of the inbox zero technique that I talk to people about is you don't have to have your email open all the time. So for me, I will open my email in the morning and then I'll check it in midday. Sometimes I don't even bother, and then I will look at that again in the evening. So there's nothing that's urgent that's going to come through an email. It's like, oh shit, I should have answered that straight away, because you just don't need to do it. You just don't need to do it. Like, you're in control of your own business. You're in control of that. Now, granted, if you're working in some industries and people are over relying on email, then of course, that might not apply to you. But I would always challenge that and just think, what happens if I do turn it off for a few hours? What's going to happen?
Yeah, I think that we are in a kind of like fast-paced society where everybody needs an answer to stuff straight away, and we feel the pressure to be on all the time. And actually, it's fine to not answer an email for 24 hours. Like, the world's not going to explode. And just sort of take the pressure off yourself a little bit. And you can have an email response that says, I've got your email. It might take me 24 hours to respond. If you want to let people know that you've got it straight away and not just leave it there hanging. I can't remember who it is. I remember reading a book from somebody, and he just answered his emails once a week. I thought, that's really like digging into the I'm not going to let emails rule my life thing. I feel like once a week just looking at my emails is not enough, but you could just set a time to look at it at the beginning of the day and the end of the day, and then just turn that tab off. Because that's the thing, we have all these tabs open on our computers as well, don't we? And we go in and out of them, and that can pull you away from the thing that you're trying to focus on. But I think also it's really good to go, actually, I like flapping about, so maybe give yourself a window to do that within your day as well. Like, it's all right to spend time on social media or open and close tabs, but create time for focus, and then give yourself time to flap about. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, creating time for procrastination, like, I'm all for. Yeah, it's true. It's one of the things that we want to talk about. I thought it might be a session in itself, but a lot of the time we beat ourselves up. We make ourselves feel guilty for this stuff. And actually, while we're procrastinating, while we're daydreaming, things like that, that's where all the great ideas come from. So you do need to have that time. It is very, very important. So I think, a lot of the time you're setting probably the wrong expectations. Like, maybe you're thinking, you're going to get 20 things done in a day, when actually, even if you were to plan and map them out, you'd only ever get 5 of those things done. So you're ending the day feeling overwhelmed, and that's when it's like, oh, fuck it, doesn't matter, I will just start scrolling on my phone, and then you feel worse. Whereas actually setting the right expectation in the first place can actually alleviate that from happening right at the beginning. So interesting. We're just going back to email. One of the sort of big eye-opening moments for this is when I was at Just Eat. One of the members of the exec team, someone had said to him, "Oh, I've sent you that email this morning." He's like, "Oh, well, I won't have opened that yet. I don't check it till tonight." And that was the point. It's like, actually, at that level, you don't need to be checking email all the time. So you don't. And that's something that stayed with me. And since then, I thought, I'm not checking my email either all the time. So, it's just sometimes you just need those little moments. So if you're looking for that person to give you permission, we've given you it today. Debbie, give our viewers, listeners permission. You don't need to have your email open. Close it now. Close it now.
Close it now. Yeah, and that's the thing. Because you hear somebody else do that. You're like, oh, that's possible. I didn't even know that was possible. I didn't know it was possible not to check my email at the end of the day. Well, shit, if they're doing it, I can do that too. And you can just get the permission to do that. I'm looking though, my email's open. It's my tab. And I think it's there all day. So, it's also about practicing what you preach, isn't it? And being able to turn it off. And I think we're kind of getting to the end. And I think one of the things that we talk about a lot is being focused on what's going to move the needle in your business.
Absolutely.
What's going to make the boat go faster? What's the mission critical things that you need to do to grow your business? And that gives you focus as well. Because sometimes we're not working on the right stuff. Nope. And that's how it can feel like we're kind of like running, but we're not gaining a lot of momentum. But that's a whole different subject that we cover off. And I think it's really important to go back to this focus and what are you doing and what's important, because it's so easy to lose focus because we're human beings and we do like shiny objects, and that's just part of our DNA, isn't it? And it's okay. And what's interesting, what you said at the very beginning is kind of, it's almost like teachers were like, right, Bertie, you're the sort of person who can't, like, you kind of get labeled at the very beginning, don't you? Like, you're the sort of person who can't concentrate. I was the person that was always the chatterbox and wasn't paying attention, clearly. So you can get rid of these labels. Like, they don't have to define who you are. You get to decide who you want to be. Also, I like this. Steve says he checks his mail twice a day. In between time is creativity time. Ooh, I love this. Creativity time.
There you go.
I want to know what you're doing. What's he doing in his creativity time? Steve,
you having a little nap, Steve?
That?
Just going to dream of some ideas.
Some of my best ideas come in my sleep. So
always the shower for me. So yeah, those things really help. So yeah, Steve, great to know that you practice that. So yeah, checking your emails twice a day. You don't have to be a slave to that inbox. Interesting what you were saying about people working on the right stuff, because that's actually the reason that I started coaching people in the first place, because that's what I see. People just like busy fools running on a treadmill. So that's I could talk about that all day long. Napping. See, we're right. Steve's having a nap. Creative napping.
Yeah, keep it simple, guys. Like, get rid of all the stuff that you don't necessarily have to do. What's the core fundamentals of your business? Focus on those. Let everything else go. Like, we don't want to be busy fools, because then even if we're focusing on the stuff, it's not the right stuff. It's not going to get us where we want to go. So
exactly. And if you just, it's just some tips. I mean, we'll probably cover this in a different session altogether. But if you're actually thinking, shit, this is me, I am that busy fool, I'm just constantly running on that treadmill, just have a look back at this week and just think, what have you been working on? Is that stuff important? Are you just doing that out of habit because you've constantly done it? What stuff can you cut? Because there's probably half of the stuff in your week you can probably just get rid of, which frees you time to try new stuff. And that's how you get that nice, beautiful growth curve that we all want in our business.
The growth curve. Okay. Have we got to the end of today then?
We have. We're done with 13 minutes and 58 seconds, 14 minutes now. So that's it. We are done. So we will be back next week. So thank you for watching. If you watched us live, if you're watching on the replay, we're here every Friday, 10 a.m. And also the podcast is live at 1 a.m. every Friday. There we go. Debbie, it's been a pleasure.
Bye.